Headlines shift almost weekly. Prices are rising, prices are falling, there aren't enough homes, there are too many homes. So which is it? Today, we narrow the lens to one specific segment: Las Vegas guard-gated communities such as the Ridges and MacDonald Highlands. This is the Las Vegas guard-gated real estate market update for December 2025. At the end of December, 420 homes were actively listed, down 78 from November, a typical seasonal slowdown as sellers paused during the holidays. Year over year, however, inventory tells a different story, with 55 more homes in December 2024, representing a 15% increase. On the demand side, 74 homes were under contract at the end of the month. That's 13 fewer than November, but 11 more than a year ago. Assuming these transactions close, the market is positioned for a strong start to January. Closed sales totaled 73 homes, up slightly from November, but down 4 sales year over year. More inventory paired with fewer closings is not a favorable signal for sellers. One final data point worth watching: 25 listings expired in December, down from 31 in November, and only slightly above last year. Over the past 2 months, 56 homes, more than 10% of the total inventory, failed to sell.
Now let's break things down by price point using our months of supply chart. Months of supply, also known as the absorption rate, is one of the most reliable measures of market balance. Rather than simply counting how many homes are listed, it tells us how long the current inventory would last at today's pace of sales, expressed in months. Historically, about 7 months of supply signals a balanced market. Right now, only one of the price ranges we track falls into that category. When supply drops below 7 months, conditions shift in favor of sellers. Competition tightens, and pricing pressure typically moves upward. By that measure, most price segments below $2.5 million have clearly tipped into sellers' market territory. Above 7 months of supply, the advantage swings to buyers. And that shift becomes especially pronounced above the $2.5 million mark, where inventory builds, options expands, and sellers face increased competition, particularly at the ultra-luxury level. One other thing worth noting: cash buyers accounted for 56% of December's purchases, a sharp jump from 37% in November, underscoring how decisively well-capitalized buyers are influencing the upper end of the market.
Next, let's talk about days on market. There are 2 ways to look at this data: total days on market and days on market from the last price. The second metric matters most. It tells us how long a home takes to sell once it's priced correctly. For example, a house is listed at $1.8 million. 120 days later, the price is reduced to $1.6 million. 20 days later, the home is sold. In this case, we would say the property had 140 total days on market, but only 20 days on market from the last price. In December, 55% of homes sold within 30 days of their last price. 93% sold within 90 days, which is consistent with historical norms. Only 7% of sales, 5 homes, took longer than 90 days. So, does waiting beyond the 90 days ever pay off? In most cases, no. Keep in mind that we don't know the full details of these transactions, whether stronger offers were missed, showings were limited, or other factors were at play. A home in Heritage at Stonebridge sold in 92 days at just 1.1% discount, barely outside the 90-day window. 2 homes in Anthem Country Club took 117 days and 121 days, one requiring a 7% price reduction, suggesting earlier pricing adjustments may have produced a better outcome. In a few cases, patience did pay off, but even then, timelines rarely exceed 4 months. A home in the Ridges sold in 150 days at 5.7% discount, after multiple withdrawals and relaunches hinting at aspirational pricing. A home in Ascension took 213 days, but as a new build, longer timelines are typical to direct competition with the builder, as buyers can still purchase new homes and select their own upgrades. So what's the takeaway in all of this? Once a home is priced correctly, the market responds quickly. Extended days on market are usually a pricing issue, not a timing strategy.
homes that were priced to sell actually performed very well last month. A lot of sellers assume that they need to build in plenty of negotiating room, but December showed us that isn't always the case. In fact, these 9 homes were priced in a way that motivated strong offers right out of the gate. 4 of them sold above their original price. Another 5 sold right at the original price. We also saw strong results from sellers who adjusted their price along the way. 1 home had a price reduction and then sold above the new asking price, and 4 more had price reductions and sold at the new asking price. In addition to the 14 sales we just talked about, let's look at the 59 sales where some negotiation did happen. 37% of homes sold for up to 5% below asking. 32% sold for between 5.1 and 10% below asking, and only 14% sold at discounts greater than 10%.
Overall, December looked very similar to November, with 2.5 million continuing to be the dividing line in the market. Below 2.5 million, months of supply tightened, giving sellers a bit more leverage, especially when homes were priced correctly from the start. Above that threshold, we continue to see downward pressure on pricing. Sellers in this range benefit from being strategic and realistic right out of the gate, particularly at the ultra-luxury level. When it comes to days on market, 93% of homes sold within 90 days of their last price. A few outliers stretched a bit longer, which is fairly common during the holiday season. Every seller wants top dollar, and that's our job. But getting there doesn't mean overpricing and hoping to negotiate later. Strong pricing creates more attention, more interest, and ultimately, better outcomes. Across all price points, the pattern was consistent. Homes that were positioned well sold efficiently and close to or even above asking, while those that missed the mark paid for it in either time or discounts. Whether you're thinking about selling or buying, the right strategy really depends on where your home or your target purchase fits in today's market. If you want a straightforward, no-nonsense market assessment, give us a call at 702-605-7482 or visit us at robjensen.com.